Hello everybody, it's nice to be talking to you again, addressing you again. We are going to continue our lesson on nouns. Today we are going to be discussing about direct addresses. We will talk about adverbials and we will also talk about adjectivals. Now, let's get down to business. These are new concepts for most of us. These are functions that were not studied in the sentence elements. So today we are going to be discussing this, and I need you to pay a bit more attention than usual to these concepts, okay? Now, if you check the presentation, you'll see that the first thing that appears is direct address. And when we think about address, what we think about is the place where you live, or how to find a place, you need the address. And that's a valid concept of address. But address as a verb also has a different meaning. To address someone means to talk to someone. Just like last night, the president of El Salvador addressed the nation. So, address means dirigirse a, but not go, but to talk to, right? So, a direct address is a noun that addresses the person to whom the speaker is talking. Now, this time I have gotten some examples in the presentation, so we're going to be looking at them in a minute. Here we go. We have a direct address. You have two examples. Martha, you need to call your parents. Now, Martha is a direct address because that's the name of the person you are talking to. Yes? Martha, you need to call your parents. Check the other example. Please find the way to inform the winners, Diana. Now, Diana is also a direct address or an addressed noun. If you have checked the book, you have found a direct address or addressed noun. They are the same thing. There's no difference. So you can write direct address or addressed noun. It doesn't matter to me. Now, in the case of the first example, Martha is a direct address. And then I have underlined another word. Well, I have made a mistake over there. You need to call your parents, not to call you parents, right? Parents is the direct object. In the other sentence, winners is what? Not the direct object. Remember, be careful, because to inform is not a verb. To be a verb, grammatically speaking, it needs to be conjugated. The verb in this sentence, in the second sentence, is find. Find what? Look, I forgot to underline another noun. Way. Way is a noun and it is acting as the direct object. Please find what? The way to inform the winners, right? So, but because the central word is way, and we are only analyzing nouns right now, not adjectives, not adverbs, not anything else. Way is the direct object, and winners is the object of the infinitive to inform. And Diana is the addressed noun. I want you to check that the word Diana can also be placed at the beginning of the sentence because it will be modifying the subject. So, this is one of those cases in which the appositive, which refers to, in this case, to the subject, but since we don't have it there, I can place it in different positions. That's a command, right? That's a command. So you can move Diana either to the beginning of the sentence or leave it there. I would probably recommend that you keep the direct addresses next to the word that they are referring to avoid confusions. Now, let's go back to the explanation. An adverbial. What is an adverbial? An adverbial is a noun that can perform the role of an adverb. See, the concept of adverbs is a bit tricky sometimes because an adverb is a mental concept, just like nouns. But some adverbs are simply, adverbs. You cannot see an adverb, you cannot experience an adverb. But some adverbial concepts, they can behave like nouns. So they can behave like nouns. Like in the case of the days, today, tomorrow, yesterday, they are adverbs. But they are also nouns. You have a concept of today, a concept of tomorrow, a concept of yesterday. They are nouns. They are abstract nouns, of course. We cannot touch yesterday, you cannot touch tomorrow, but you can live it, so you experience it. Now, we gotta be a bit careful with adverbials because, check this out, here we go. 2 examples again. Tomorrow we will discuss your punishment. Yesterday is only a memory. Now, tomorrow is an adverbial because it tells us when we will do the action. Yes? It's a noun, but it's behaving like an adverb. We will discuss your punishment when? Tomorrow. So you will classify tomorrow as an adverbial. And punishment is a direct object. Now, the next sentence, you gotta be careful with it. You gotta be paying attention to this. I know it may be a bit complicated sometimes, but yesterday is not an adverbial. Yesterday is only a memory. Now, I told you, yesterday is not an adverbial. How do I know? Because imagine that I consider yesterday an adverbial. What is the subject? You tell me, well, if yesterday is not the subject, then the subject has to be memory. Okay, fine. It's good thinking. I understand why you would say that, and that is a good thing. You're showing me that you are paying attention. You're trying to think about things, the things that we are studying. But it's not. It cannot. Well, it can, but pay attention to this. Do you remember the concept of a predicate nominative? A predicate nominative is a subject complement. It renames the subject. I ask you, what is only a memory? Yesterday. Yesterday is only a memory. So, I could flip it around and say, only a memory is yesterday. Yes? See? So, in that case, memory would be the subject, but yesterday would be a predicate nominative if we flip it, okay? If we flip it. If we don't flip it, we keep it that way, then yesterday is the subject. Because it is not telling me when the action is. I am defining what yesterday is. So yesterday in this case is not classified as an adverbial, but as a subject. The next case is the adjectival. Now, a noun that behaves like an adjective is an adjectival. And for you to classify a noun as an adjectival, something has to happen. It has to be next to the word that it is modifying. So you're going to have noun 1 and noun 2. And noun 1 is going to say something about noun 2. Check the examples. Some broken beer bottles announced Josiah's mood. Beer bottles. You're talking about bottles, yes? And when you say beer, you are giving a quality for this noun. Beer bottles. Beer bottles, are they the same as soda bottles? No. So, it behaves like an adjective, but it has to be next to the other noun. Now, to complete this analysis, I'll say that beer is an adjectival and bottles is the subject. Some broken beer bottles announced Josiah's mood. Now, remember that if you can identify Josiah's, the apostrophe S, as possession, remember we discussed that it's not really possession, but if you can establish this relationship of belongingness, in other words, it's not a contraction of verb to be. That's what I'm trying to say, right? That is not Josiah is. That is Josiah's mood. It shows possession. So I automatically have to say Josiah's genitive. Remember, it's genitive, not genitives. It's not plural, guys. It's not plural. It's genitive. Josiah's genitive. And mood would be the direct object. The other example, tomato sauce should be thick. You have sauce. There are different kinds of sauces, but we are talking about a specific kind of sauce. So tomato, it's behaving like an adjective, but it's not an adjective. It is a noun. That is something very important that I need you to remember. Don't classify adjectives as adjectivals. And I repeat something that I have told you more than once in these videos. First, let's identify the nouns. And after we have identified the nouns, then we should assign roles. Not at the same time, not before, after. Why am I saying this? Because imagine this is a common mistake. Some people say, in the first example of the adjectival, some broken beer bottles announce Josiah's mood. Broken. Some people underline broken. Because it's modifying bottles. It is definitely modifying bottles. But broken is not a noun. And with this, guys, we are going to stop this mini lesson. And I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.